this game ends up going the distance here, simply because... Hey guys, welcome back to DreamHack Stockholm. I'm JoRoSaR and I managed to grab the Southeast Asian contingent of players here at DreamHack. We have Livibee, PiG and Blysk. So why don't you go ahead, say hi to the camera, introduce yourself, and possibly trash talk the only non-Australian here for a little bit.
Hey everybody, my name is Olivia. I go by the gamer tag Livibee. I'm a Zerg player from Sydney, Australia. I am currently living in America for a short period of time, just trying to improve at the game and stream more. And Blysk is a horrible person.
Hey guys, I'm PiG, also from Australia. Play Zerg, play for Team Exile 5. What even is a Blysk, is my question. What kind of a name is that?
I'm Thomas Kovankiewicz, go by the handle Blysk. Live in Singapore, born in Germany, playing for the team mYi Insanity right now. And yeah, Blysk is a trash person.
Oh. But what is a Blysk? Do we know?
What is a Blysk? It's Polish for lightning or flash, like a flash of lightning.
You're the Polish Flash?
Is that to describe how you are in the bedroom, or?
Impactful. Like
you're like are you the European equivalent of Flash? What? But you don't even play Terran.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Soon. All right.
I could explain how I got my name, but we'll leave that to later.
All right. We are going to have to hear about that in a bit. But I believe it's your first DreamHack, and Livibee, it's your first DreamHack as well. Tell us what your experiences have been with Stockholm so far, what you've really enjoyed about the tournament, what you're going to maybe prepare better for next time, how your tournament run has gone for you. Let's have a chat about that.
I thought you were asking Livibee first. Yeah, for me, the international tournaments, for me, like the most exciting part is always meeting all these new players, all these players like you talk to online, and you learn so much from them, like the experience and everything. And also, like in tournament settings, you don't get like nonsense builds that you play on ladder. It's like legit games, and it's really like engaging to play in. So I really enjoy that, and the whole atmosphere is really cool to see so many fans actually come down, and quite a few actually recognize me and say hi. It's just a really cool experience. So I really love that. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, skipping PiG, I like it. Well, I don't know what Blysk was saying about the nonsense build, because I got my fair share of cheese in my group stage. Yeah, I played all Zergs because Moro came first in the group, so I never got to play him. My group was full of GMs. I managed to knock one out, so yay. But then I got knocked out by Agaham, who's like really high GM. And I think the main thing I really like about this event, it wasn't really as big as I expected, but I prefer that because everyone's really, I guess, in a more tight-knit community, and everyone just is more approachable, and you can say hey to your favorite player, because I guess the player area is just more accessible, and I like just having the support from all the fans and people coming up to you and saying hello and taking a picture or getting your signature, and it's awesome.
Cool. And PiG, you've been to quite a few DreamHacks now. Talk us through yesterday and today from your perspective and how you think Stockholm compares.
Yeah, it's actually my first time in Stockholm, so it's kind of cool coming here because this is the esports event. Obviously, I think DreamHack Winter as well is very based around, the big finals. But previously, I'd been to DreamHack Summer, Valencia, and they're more festival based. You've got a big kind of bring your own computer LAN set up. You've got, I guess, a lot more merchandising stalls and that sort of stuff. You've still got some of that here, but I love the arena here. You've got the huge, big circular globe seating in the main hall where we're going to see the finals later on. And I like what Livibee was saying. It's tighter knit because it's more esports focused. You've got a lot of people who know exactly who the players are and who are really keen to be able to kind of rub shoulders with everyone. You've got a really nice setup. I also really like that this event is very BlizzCon focused. You've got a really strong Blizzard presence here. You've got a lot of WoW fans, a lot of Hearthstone fans, and it's all leading towards BlizzCon. We all know how important these games are for people like Snoot, Bunny, potentially kind of getting just into that BlizzCon. A lot of the Korean players trying to kind of pick up those last points. So yeah, it's been a pretty cool event. My run was cut short by Jaedong and Mana yesterday. Had some pretty close games with Mana. It was pretty sad with how I played, but it's just been a fun event, and I think DreamHack is always very special because they just put such a good show on, and they treat the players very well. The technology is always perfect, so you don't run into a lot of the problems you run into at some other tournaments.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing those experiences, guys. Yeah, it's been a really fun weekend so far, and of course the round of 16 is concluding shortly. We're soon going to get to see the show inside the globe. That's another game ending in the background there. You guys mentioned, I think all of you at some point mentioned sort of living abroad. Livibee, you're currently in the States. Pig, you're currently in Europe, heading back to Australia soon. And Blysk, you're currently still in Singapore, but considering coming to Europe at a later stage. Anyone can ask the question, what's great about moving abroad? And be like, well, I get to practice with more people and improve my StarCraft. But realistically, like, outside of just being in-game on the ladder or being in a practice game with a practice partner, what about being abroad like sharpens your focus and it sort of makes you feel like you can actually get into your game and really improve more than if you stayed at home? Because I think we get a lot of players, like some players even in Europe and America going over to Korea. We have players like you guys in Southeast Asia coming to America and Europe as well, and some to Korea as well, as we know, like Moonglade's here too. What's the big psychological switch that gets turned on when you guys head abroad?
I'll go first. I think the best thing about going abroad and actually practicing really hard is that you don't have all the distractions that you do when you're at home. Like, you don't have the family duties or the work duties or like all these other chores or errands you have to run all the time every day. You just, every day you wake up and you practice really hard, and then you just think to yourself, I'm in like a different country entirely right now, like why am I here? And that really just redirects your focus to practicing even harder. And the best thing other than that obviously is the internet. In Australia you can't really practice as hard as you'd like because you always get set back by disconnects or lag or drops. Like, you just lose so many games unnecessarily that you could have won just because of internet issues.
They play Hearthstone by fax machines there, right?
Some could say that, I guess.
All right, who wants to go next? Let's go.
I should actually go next because I feel like Pig knows about this the best, since he's actually gotten like the full experience of like from Australia to mYi house. So for me, I haven't really had much of a switch in continents or countries or anything. The only similar thing I had was like a slight boot camp at a friend's place when I came to Europe for a holiday once, right before a WCS qualifier. It's just really getting into like the momentum of practice, so you really don't get distracted. You've got your own schedule, so as what Livibee said, you just don't get distracted by other things. So you're like having a full focus, and you can actually do like a step-by-step process of like each day, what are you going to do, how much you're going to improve, what are you going to focus on, and stuff like that. So for me in Singapore, I actually have to study at the same time, so it's really hard for me to like dedicate 4 or 8 hours each day to practice because the schedules always change. So that kind of thing is really distracting, especially if you're like trying to improve on something really specific. So a lot of details like this really come into play when you're trying to get much better at the game, because it's not so simple to like just look at one strategy and you're done, because StarCraft has so many things that built into it. So yeah.
Cool. Thanks for sharing. And I guess Pig, like Blysk just mentioned, you've had a pretty good experience, hopefully, living in the mYi house for more than what I'd say the last month. Living in my house for a bit of that as well. I still have a pair of shorts that belong to you. That's a long story, guys. How's the experience been for you?
Yeah, I've lost a few clothes over the last 4 months here in Europe. Actually, like I left my only belt at the mYi house. So I've just been chucking my jeans in the dry. You know,
just eat more.
You know, yeah, or just get fatter. It's been great. I've been here for 4 months. I think I've been pretty lucky out of most Australians in terms of going overseas and stuff, and in terms of earning opportunities, creating opportunities, all that sort of stuff. Sometimes just getting lucky. I lived in the Prime House in Korea back in 2012 for like a month and a bit. So that was a kind of cool experience. I think that was the first time where I experienced what Livy was talking about with you don't have any responsibilities other than StarCraft. So yeah, especially when you've got people cooking for you in a team house. It's the same in the mYi house. You're like, I don't need to even cook my food. You know, maybe I wash some dishes once a week. Like, it's it's kind of amazing how much of your thought can go into StarCraft, and at that point it's kind of funny because you need to adjust. You need to actually start setting time to not be thinking about StarCraft to clear your mind out, whereas normally when you're at home it's all about, you know, okay, let's just try and avoid all these distractions. And especially for someone who's got a big commitment like studying or a part-time job, it gets very, very difficult. So I've been over in the mYi house for about 2 months. I was then in London house sitting and also crashing at your place for about a month, and then back in the mYi house. So overall about almost 4 months here. Amazing internet. I cannot friggin' stress that enough. What Livy's talking about, like, I remember there's times where I've had like an IEM event or something I've qualified for, and I'm like, okay, you know, I clear a bit of my coaching schedule. I say, I've got to focus on this, you know, let's avoid my other commitments. And it's like, this week before I go is just practice. And then it's like, it rains. And apparently in Australia, if it rains, internet doesn't work anymore. So I literally spend a week, you know, where I'm like alternating going to a PC bang. And PC bangs in Australia, 10 years ago, there were some nice ones. Nowadays, it's like not a nice place to practice. Like the one I go to, it has like racing chairs that are glued to the ground, so you can't adjust it at all. Livy knows what I'm talking about. We used to have a lot of tournaments there. The tables are like either way too high, so your hands are kind of up here while you're playing, or way too low. You can't get a normal size monitor. It'll be like 27 inches, like way too big, or it'll be too small. And it's filled with people screaming at each other, playing like LOL or CS or COD, just like, ah! So it's really unideal. And it'll lag as well. Like you'll get lag there as well. So it's very, very unreliable. And then I'll go home and I'll be like, all right, let's just practice at home. At least it's my setup, it's comfortable. 2000 ping, I guess I go mass baneling every game because that's the only unit I can use, you know, like. It's really, really hard when you're balancing things and then something completely out of your control like internet comes in. There have been times I've like gone to my brother's house and other people's houses and I've just kind of sat up there all day and imposed on them just to get practice done. So over here, never having to deal with that except once or twice in England, because England's internet isn't great either. It's been so much better. It's been really cool. Like, being able to focus. One of my favorite things is being able to practice with all my friends. A lot of people, you know, say, okay, in Australia you can practice Korean ladder. And I say, yeah, it's great. It's a good advantage. Disadvantages though, you get minimum about 180 ping. So holding 2 racks is a nightmare. Any sort of really micro-intensive strategies is bad. Number 2, yeah, you can practice with some Korean mates. Very few speak English. So it's very hard to increase your understanding after the matches. Often they'll have this whole understanding of the meta, which you don't really get. You only understand what's happened in that specific game. You don't understand your opponent's mindset. So it's really great to be on the same time zone as my European friends, be able to practice with them, rather than say, can you please come to the NA server and practice in subpar conditions just to help me? So I can actually practice with people. I've been playing so many customs. I've really felt like I'm part of a scene which is alive and thriving. With WCS going on, I've practiced with so many players preparing for their Premier League groups, their Premier League matches, their Challenger matches, preparing for the qualifiers, and doing that sort of focused practice has really helped improve my understanding. And it's actually been very sad because I've improved my practice, I've improved everything so much, and it's got to that point where I'm like, I finally feel like I'm on a roll and I kind of have to go home. So it's a bit bittersweet at the moment, but I got to say it's fantastic being here. Europe's definitely the center of StarCraft, undoubtedly, in the world. And I'd recommend anyone, if you're super, super serious about like getting to the top, try to get yourself over and practice for a period in a team house.
Cool. Well, thanks very much for joining me, guys. Let everybody know sort of where they can find you on social media, where you guys are going to be streaming, how they can get in touch with you and say hello. I'm sure they all really appreciate you guys coming on today.
I suppose you can find me on my stream, which is twitch.tv/Livibee. I also just want to do a quick mention of everyone that helped me support me get to DreamHack. To all my fans, thank you so much. Without you guys, I couldn't be living the dream. #passion. You can also find me on Twitter. It's @Livibee, but with 4 E's. 2 E's was taken, so was 3. That's another story. Okay.
Cool.
So you just pretty much like broke the rule of make it simple to type in. You know, it's like make it like call me tasteless. Something like this. You're like Livibee with 4 E's and an asterisk and 12 zeros.
On Facebook, it's probably 6, right?
Like it's me, Livibee. How cool is that? How about you, man?
Yeah, you guys can find me at Twitch on x5_pig. Gonna be streaming a bit when I get home. My stream's been completely inactive. I kind of like finally got my like sub button set up and stuff, and like organized all my like little stream sounds and stuff. And I was like, and now I'm going overseas. I'm not going to stream for 6 months. So I'm looking forward to getting back into that. Hopefully some people will join me. Also want to be streaming some other non-StarCraft stuff a little bit just for fun, but we'll see how that goes. Twitter x5_pig as well. Yeah, thanks for the interview. Thanks Blizzard and DreamHack and everyone for just organizing such a sick event, and NVIDIA for getting me here. Thanks to those guys.
Good stuff. Wait, hold on. Where did we start? Oh yeah, like the. Follow me on Twitter at it's Blysk. ITSBLYSK. I guess with that you can know when I'm streaming, what I'm doing, whatever useful quotes you get from there, from all my cool little emo comments. Other than that, I want to thank Skoga for getting me here, the Singapore organization helping out gamers. They're really cool. SCOGA, check them out. And shout out to whoever fans, my followers, my team as well. And yeah, JoRoSaR for having us here for the interview.
On a final note, just so that no one thinks I hate Blysk, he's actually an awesome person.
I don't think that was ever in doubt. Guys, thanks very much for joining me. We're here at DreamHack Stockholm, and we'll see you at the Final 8 show.